Welcome to Clarkston, a great place to live. This is a show about the interesting people, places, and opportunities in our community. My name is Joy Kuntz. I'm the host of Clarkston, a great place to live. And today our guest is Maggie Grazdar, who is the publisher of Kid Standard magazine. And Maggie, tell us a little bit about your magazine.
Hi, Joette. Our magazine is a non-profit publication. Kid Standard been around since last March. Our first publication came out March of 2015, and it was received really well by the community. And what's unique about our publication, it's non-profit, it's free, goes to schools for free. Kids could take a copy home and read about it, and the best part about it is students get a chance to write their own articles, whatever they want. So they can express their ideas, their voice, or even do research and write about their favorite subject. So that's what makes it exciting for everyone to read. And because it's local, it makes it more interesting, because even if students did not write and they look at it, oh, I know Samantha here, and she's my neighbor, or she's my classmate. So it kind of motivates them, inspires them to do the same thing.
And you brought along a couple of your friends today, who
Yes.
we brought an author and a mentor with you. Would you introduce those?
Sure. We have one of our young authors, Samantha. She's a 4th grader at Bailey Lake Elementary.
Welcome, Ms. Samantha.
Thank you.
And we also have Madison Walker, who is a junior at Clarkston High School, and she's also a mentor in 2 schools. She mentors at Pine Knob Elementary, and also a different day she mentors at Independence Elementary.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a lot about mentoring, because that's a fascinating model that you have for your magazine. But welcome, Madison, too.
Thank you.
Let's go through a magazine, so that we're a couple of pages in the magazine, so
Okay.
people can see what we are talking about when we talk about Kid Standard.
Sure.
So we have the February issue of Kid Standard. That's the cover of it, and it's a fascinating, complicated magazine. I believe that's children's art on the beginning.
Yes, that's children's art, and we always put something that it's the theme for the month on the cover.
Okay. Let's see if we can see that cover again, and maybe you could explain. There's something on the National Park System, which I think is celebrating its 100 years this year. So that was a story by.
Yes, that was a story by, don't remember the author's name, but one of the students. And the middle one is a story about the interview with the doctor. And the third one, it's a different story as well. So we highlight, some of the stories and put,
So we're talking about art as well as writing.
Yes,
Student
absolutely.
art and student writing both are highlighted in the magazine.
Yes.
Let's go to a page. I think maybe the page that Samantha wrote, had her article published on. And would you talk to Samantha about?
Samantha, I know you have been published a couple of times. You want to talk about the one that was published in February, and let us know, what was the process? How did you start with the topic, and what it took you to bring it to a level to be published?
Well, my first reaction to the topic for February, I thought, oh, I have a perfect idea for that. I thought of how I was picked on in school, and I thought that it was a problem that needed to stop. So I decided to write about bullying and how it can really change other people when they get picked on.
Samantha, so you have this idea in your head, and so how did you start? How did you actually get it on? You have it all polished up and published in a magazine, but what were the steps that you took? What's the first thing you did? Okay, I've got this idea. what do I do now?
First, I did my draft, my rough draft, and I typed it all up. Then I asked some mentors, how does this look? Like, is there any editing that I can do to make it better? They helped me edit it, and I asked my teacher after that, Mrs. Rocco, if there was any more editing that I could do for it, and she said yes. So then we went through it and we edited it more to get it up to the level that it is now.
So when you were writing it, what were some of the, do you remember some of the things that people suggested to you when they were looking at your article prior to publishing it?
Not really, but the one thing that I do remember is one of the mentors told me that when you are drafting it, you should always have someone to edit it, and he told me to make sure all the commas are in the right place and periods and words that don't make sense to delete them.
Have you now? This is this magazine has been out since February.
Well, the whole organization been around since March of 2015, but for the publication that Samantha was worked on, it's for February, yeah.
So have you had students respond to you? But they read it and responded to you?
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about Maggie. You had this idea. This is your idea.
Yeah.
So talk about how this idea came to be and what you had hoped to accomplish with your magazine.
Well, the idea came about when my children were younger and they were so much into electronics and not enough reading and writing. So I was at the level that, I just kind of was worried that, they're never going to learn to read or write and get more creative. So I came up with the idea, okay, well, I'm on the conference call. I had a consulting organization from home. So while I was on the conference call, I had my kids watching Nickelodeon, had them, watch it and then write about the characters and see what they liked and what they didn't like. And that's how it started. And a lot of other kids joined, their neighbors and friends and some of their schoolmates. And the first draft we put and organized together was received really well by teachers. They were really impressed. So that's how we started. Everyone encouraged me to keep this going. So.
And I know that you started it when you lived in New York.
Yeah.
And now you've moved to Michigan. So, when you started here, you're almost a year. Your 1 year anniversary.
It's 1 year anniversary. So it's exciting because when I started, my boys just, my youngest son just went to college. So I figured, I have plenty of time to really focus on this magazine and help other children with this, get them to love learning and writing. And, to bring this publication to the level it is, I always thought about, writing not just for writing sake. I always looked at writing as a learning tool because when you're writing, you learn how much you know, and you learn more as you write because you want to, make it clear, and it's a way of communication. And for me, that was important. So when I had the plan and to start this in Clarkston, I spoke to a few teachers. I spoke to Miss Potter in IB department, and also spoke to Dr. Rock, and they both were very encouraging and they liked the idea. And so that's how I started. And originally Miss Potter helped me with introducing some of the students to this program who could mentor and teach about writing to younger students.
And I believe in the first year you've had at least 400 submissions for publication, or 400 students have written an article.
Yeah, absolutely. We are getting a lot of submissions now, more and more. So we have a theme every month, and once we get the submissions, our editor looks at it and puts it in a category for what month would be more suitable for. That's how it works.
Well, let's go to, we have a short video with other students, and let's show the video. And this will give the audience at home a little idea about how the publication is put together.
Publication. Kids Standard is a fresh take on journalism, written by kids, for kids. Contributors can be as young as 4 or as old as 18.
Children are the primary authors of our newspaper. Students can contribute their own writings, creative writings, scientific writings, analytical writings, and artwork to showcase their talent to the community.
Because our newspaper is distributed for free throughout our schools and our community of Greater Michigan, all kids can get a copy of Kids Standard. At Kids Standard Publication, our goals are simple. Motivate, activate, and celebrate kids. We motivate children to activate their minds and imagination by encouraging them to create art and write articles for submission. We celebrate their achievements by publishing the best entries in print and online, and awarding scholarships to outstanding students. We seek to foster motivation and children's pride in themselves, and we teach them that hard work and creativity are their own reward. Categories for submissions include social studies, science and math, creativity through projects, health, movies and book reviews, events of the month, featured articles, music, who you admire, artwork, games and cartoons, a parent's corner, a professional corner, and even a teacher's corner.
What gets you excited, or what you look forward to, or what makes you feel really good? Write about it and get it published in Kids Standard. Need help to get started? There's a select group of students who can assist you with researching and writing skills.
Consider it own work instead of homework.
This can be difficult at first, and that's where our select high school mentors come in. They are passionate about their coaching. They will help you get started and show you how to wrap it up.
When you see it in print, you'll be glad you took on the challenge.
It could get you thinking about getting another own work published in the next edition. Then you'll be on to a new challenge.
Learning should be fun and spark the imagination and the intellect to want more. Kids Standard's sole purpose is to be the vehicle for that spark. Kids are increasingly motivated to try new venues through this approach. And educators, businessmen, professional writers, and artists contributing articles are also an important part of the learning through research process. Writing stimulates thought. Writing may not end up being your career choice, but it's a great skill to have. Writing down what you already know causes you to go discover what you don't. This is a fun way to encourage critical thinking. See Sparky Run can become, I watched Sparky as he careened from side to side down the street, wanting to shake the can tied to his tail. It could also be a cartoon with dog thought bubbles. This is how the process begins to work itself out, from an idea, to a story, or even to a drawing. This is how inventions are created as well. And so this process will serve you well into the future.
So choose what appeals to you and start putting it on paper.
Well, Maggie, tell us a little bit about the video. It really tells the process of Kids Standard. And if students want to submit their work for another month, I know the next month is...
Next month for April issue is the digital kids. So they could submit something in that area. But also sometimes people don't know about our theme, which our themes are available online. They could go to our website and look at the editorial calendar and see what month has what theme. But just in case, if we do get submissions that doesn't go for, let's say, April, we are going to see if it's a good submission to see what month would be more suitable
in the
for.
future.
Yeah. So.
Now, and I know if you go online, you can read each of the magazines from previous months, and that would be really good for, well, students if they just want to read, or ideas for ideas of submissions in the future. You have developed a great way to help the students like Samantha who who are just beginning to publish, and I know, Samantha, I believe you've published a couple of times, so you're an old hat at that. But tell us a little bit with Madison about your mentorship. And we saw some pictures in the video about the mentorship, so talk to us a little bit about how that works and supports the student writing.
Absolutely. Mentors are high school students who want to help the students as far as their writing and kind of their leadership skills. And some of the students, they get involved with Kids Standard because they want to mentor for the hours requirement they have. But we have an extensive process of interviews that they have to go through and applications in order for them to mentor elementary students. So what we found with the high school students, this is a great experience for them. Not only they're helping elementary students, but they're also helping themselves to become more responsible, to learn about time management, to learn how to be a role model for other kids, So those are some of the, I think it's great points and they're learning more about communication, collaboration, innovation, that kind of things too. So we're having a great experience with some of the mentors. And Madison mentors in 2 schools for us. So, and she's a very hard worker, and we're really glad to have her mentoring at schools.
So Madison, tell us a little bit about how a session, one of your mentorship sessions would go. How long would it be?
Well, the mentoring session goes for 1 hour. And so basically the kids will have their computers out and they will either have a topic or they need to find a topic. And so the mentors usually just walk around the room and look for kids that need help. And so if someone needs a topic, we brainstorm with them and we talk about things that they like or things that they're interested in, and we try to come up with a topic based on that. And usually if kids are in the editing process, we help them and we look through their paper and try to find mistakes. And sometimes, like yesterday for example, I was helping this girl and she couldn't figure out how to place the commas. And I asked her if she had learned it in school, and she said she had. And so I was just working through it with her and trying to figure out where the disconnect was and how she could better understand where to put the commas. And by the end of the session, she finally figured it out, and she was putting it in herself, and it made me realize how beneficial it is for them, because sometimes the teacher is good at explaining it, but if you have one-on-one time with someone and maybe a mentor can explain it in a different way that might be more understanding to them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. One thing I have to add, for elementary students, they love high school students. When these guys go in, they're looking so forward. So it's easier for them to learn from high school students.
Great role models.
Yeah.
Madison, what have you learned from this experience? I hope that you've had some own personal goals that you've attained through this.
Yes. Well, I think the biggest thing that I've learned from Kids Standard, I think, is like the relationships between the kids and the mentors. And I just think it's really cool. And I learned so much more about like elementary school kids, and I always think it's really fascinating. Like Samantha, her topic was about bullying, and these kids come up with such like mature topics. And so I've just have a better understanding of the kids that I mentor.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for volunteering. You also have some sections in your magazine about parents and educators. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, because our magazine is for free and students take a copy home, we want it to be shared and looked at by grown-ups as well. And so we have a couple of pages for parents to share their expertise or something, their voice that they think it's going to be beneficial for other students, for other parents. So we have a page, 1 page or 2 pages, depends to the issue, dedicated for parents. And we also have a page or 2 for educators to share their knowledge. Like some of them have expertise in technology or critical thinking, and some teachers may not know that much about the techniques they use in their classrooms that benefits them. So that way, our magazine is shared by everybody, and
So it's
also,
a family experience.
Exactly. And the other thing that we have in the magazine, we encourage our students, mostly elementary students, but we also encourage our high school students to interview our local successful people, whether it's business owners or professionals or educators. With that experience, they learn a lot about the individuals, and also it builds their confidence level too.
In February, I saw that you had introduced, is that when someone had interviewed Dr. Claudel?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that, the age of the student and how that all took place.
Well, the students who volunteered, there were many students who wanted to do the interview, but we chose one, and she's a 4th grade student. And we went through, a couple of questions. Do you need help? But the questions, she said, no, I don't need help. And so she came up with the questions herself. And the reason she wanted to interview the doctor, because she wants to be a doctor. So we thought that would be neat. She wants to know what it takes to be a doctor. So she interviewed Dr. Cadell, and the interview went well. And we published it for February. And her confidence level is very high. She's really excited. And her mom was very happy about seeing that her daughter is going outside that comfort zone and learning something different and new.
Yeah. Well, I know that the audience would like to know, Madison, what you are a junior?
Junior.
So what's in your future? Let's talk about in writing and maybe what you're thinking about in your your life beyond high school.
Well, I think that I want to go into the medical field or possibly become a dentist. That's like a field that interests me. And I also want to have a job that would incorporate writing too. So everything's kind of like up in the air right now. I'm not really sure what definite profession I want. There's just a lot of things that.
Well, you have
I
a few years a couple of years to start looking, but
Yeah.
But adding this is a great experience, I assume, to help you make up your mind.
Yeah, it's definitely taught me a lot of things.
Well, Samantha, we have to ask you. You have quite a few years left with Clarkston Schools, but do you have something? How do you think writing's going to help you in the future?
I really want to be like a dentist, but I also want to incorporate it with writing somehow. Like maybe I could be a journalist in my spare time.
There's lots of dental magazines,
Right.
helping people. That's great.
Yeah. Well, anything you do, it requires writing. You applying for college applications, it's gonna, I really believe that with our students, they're gonna have an easier time to, when it comes to college applications or writing essays, it's gonna be a lot easier for them because they're already used to it. And even in science and math, you're gonna write reports, and with this, you're learning how to write it clearly and more structured.
Well, it's a great service you've given to a great gift you've given to our students in Clarkston Schools.
Oh.
I know that you've gone beyond Clarkston Schools
Yes.
somewhat, and so who else can you tell us what other students and what other grades what other schools are contributing to the magazine?
We also have, we work with Lake Orion School District as well. That we started that a few months ago, and it's going really well. We don't have clubs in those schools, but we do get a lot of articles.
Now, we have this great magazine, and you have said it's free. So where can families find it?
Children get them, students get them in their school, take a copy home. You could pick them up at the district office, at libraries, some of the sports centers, gyms, and also small diners and family restaurants, that sort of thing.
Now it's a beautiful magazine, and I know you're nonprofit.
Yeah.
But there's still a cost to getting this magazine done. It's quite
Yeah.
you know, and if you're a child and you've got a submission in it, it's
Yeah.
probably something
Yeah.
I'm going to keep around for
Yeah.
lifelong piece. I know you have a fundraiser coming up.
Yes, and we really want to keep this magazine for free. Many people suggested to have a subscription. We like to have it free because we want it to be available to everybody. And once it's free, they will open it up and read it and take advantage. We have a fundraising. You know, our main funding comes from our advertisers and sponsors. And we have our first fundraising event coming up March 18. So we're pretty excited about that. And with our fundraising, we're inviting parents, teachers, companies locally to come in, just mingle, and get to know each other.
And I understand it's
At the fountain.
Fountains, and
Yeah, it's March 18. All the informations are on the website,
Okay.
kidsstandard.org. People could go in there, purchase ticket or sponsor, whatever they like.
And we also, if people are interested in sponsoring the magazine or advertising in the magazine,
Yes, absolutely.
they should contact you through your website.
Yeah.
And remember that all those magazines are on that website.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Kids can read them
And
there.
we could definitely use sponsors and advertisers.
Well, I thank you today for being our guest.
Thank you so much for
and-
inviting us.
And thank you, Samantha
Thank you.
and Madison, for being here. And we hope to read more Kids Standard Magazine.
Great.
And go to www.kidsstandard.org to find out all kinds of information or read past magazines. Pick up a copy for your family. We're always looking for topics and people to help make Clarkston a great place to live for this show. So please email me at jkhorses@comcast.net with your ideas, and thank you for watching.